getting away, and pay attention while Taylor goes over the bell ringer.
You're supposed to change the sign of the egg. Does it matter if it's egg or egg, it's the same amount.
It doesn't matter.
And then it's basically just change the egg. And then you rewrite it. And then the prime. Right?
Okay, will you tell us what did you get for your new coordinates?
Like A prime is negative 2, 4. And B prime is 2, negative 5. And C prime is 6, 7.
Thank you. Bailey, tell us, do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Yeah, very good. So whenever you reflect across the y-axis, you just change the sign of the x value. So A prime would be negative 2, 4. B prime would be positive 2, negative 5. And C prime would be positive 6, negative 7. Perfect. What questions do you have for me? Okay. All right, make sure your name's on the bell ringer, pass it to the front row, pass it to the right. And then I need you to get out your page 105 from your student journal. Was there anyone that still needed to turn that in? Okay. All right, so get out your page 105 from the student journal so you can make corrections, because on today's worksheet, you're going to want to use your notes and your student journal assignment to help you.
Is that what you just passed back?
Yes, that's what I just passed back.
Miss Taylor, you watch basketball again tonight?
No.
What is it? New Magic.
Pretend you matter?
Or is that Schmidt? Something like that.
No, I've got the boys this weekend, so I don't get to go anywhere whenever.
So it's not here?
No, it's not.
All right, so what I did was I worked this out myself, numbers 1, 2, and 3. You need to make sure that you have the correct coordinates and then the correct picture. Okay. All right, so for number 1, it was a 180-degree rotation, so it's opposite of A, opposite of B, which all it means is you need to go through and change the signs of both coordinates. Okay, and we had already talked about the coordinates for J, K, L, and M yesterday. Okay, so you would go through and change the coordinates of all of those. Okay, so J prime would be 2, negative 4. So to the right 2, down 4. K prime is 5, negative 1. So to the right 5, down 1. L prime is 2, 2. So to the right 2, up 2. And M prime is negative 1, negative 1. So to the left 1, down 1. And then you draw your figure, draw your quadrilateral. Number 2 is opposite of B, A. So that means change the sign of your y coordinate and then flip them. So R prime would be 0, negative 4, because 0 is neutral, it can't be positive or negative. S prime would be negative 5, negative 1. 5 was positive, and then we made it a negative. This one stayed the same. And then T would be negative 1, negative 5, because we would change that sign, but leave that one the same. Okay. All right, so 0, negative 4 is on the y-axis. You just go down to negative 4. Negative 5, negative 1 is to the left 5, down 1. Negative 1, negative 5 is to the left 1, down 5. And then you draw your figure. Okay. Number 3. Okay. A 270-degree rotation is B, opposite of A. So that means you change your x value sign, your x coordinate sign, and then flip them. Okay. So this was positive 1, positive 4. So if I made my 1 a negative and flipped it, it would be 4, negative 1. So A prime is 4, negative 1. So you would go to the right 4 and down 1. B prime would be 3, negative 4. So to the right 3, down 4. C prime would be 1, negative 3. So to the right 1, down 3. And D prime would be 2, negative 1. So to the right 2, down 1. And there's my quadrilateral. All right, what questions do you have for me on page 105, numbers 1 through 3? Alright, you're gonna wanna keep that out. You're also gonna want your 5.3 notes out to help you on today's assignment. Today's assignment's an individual class assignment, which means it's on your own and it's due at the end of class. The first two say graph the polygon and its image after a 270-degree rotation about the origin. So you're going to need to graph these two on your graph paper and then graph the image after the rotation. Now notice, this one here is counting by 1. See, there's 0, so that's -1, -2. But this one here is counting by 2, so be careful with that, okay? Now, if you would like to change this one when you graph it to count by 1s on your graph paper, then please do that. Make it as easy for you yourself as possible. And then it says 3 and 4. That should say graph the triangle RST with these vertices and its image. Number 3 is a 90-degree rotation, and number 4 is a 180-degree rotation. And then 5 and 6 says graph triangle CDE with those vertices and its image. 5 is a 180-degree rotation. 6 is 270-degree rotation. And then you'll do all 6 problems on a piece of graph paper, on graph paper. Okay. What questions do you have for me before you get started on your worksheet?
So on the first two, we redraw them even though they're already.
Yes, redraw them on a separate piece of graph paper. So do all problems on a separate piece of graph paper. I'll be walking around in case you have any questions or in case you need anything. I'll also be putting in grades. So if I'm there, you can just raise your hand or as I walk by.